The story revolves around a name synonymous with wealth and power in the 20th century, Getty. The youngest member of this affluent dynasty, John Paul Getty III, becomes our central character. Emerging from a lineage glittered with the spoils of an oil empire, John was more than just another member of this affluent clan. Born in 1956, he was the grandson of J. Paul Getty, who was reputedly the richest man in the world at the time and founder of Getty Oil. To gain a grasp of our protagonist and the world he inhabited, it's vital to comprehend the magnitude of his family's influence, their iconic wealth, massive deals, and an uncanny capacity to captivate the media. Raised in the heart of the swinging 60s, a cauldron of transformative art and culture in Italy, young John was quite the defiant iconoclast, estranged from his family's stuffy and strict way of living. Little did he know, however, his life was about to take an unfathomable turn. John Paul Getty III started his life amid privilege and opulence, but he craved something more. Raised largely in Italy, surrounded by a vibrant artistic culture, he was known for his rebellious streaks. He embraced the bohemian lifestyle of a counterculture, embodying the spirit of the 60s in a way that starkly contrasted with the stiff rectitude of his family's business empire. From an early age, he exhibited a flair for rebellion and a penchant for mingling with the young, free-spirited, and artistic crowd of Rome. This marked John's early estrangement from his family, as he rejected their traditional values and instead sought independence. His early acts of defiance included expulsion from a prestigious private school and subsequent dive into an avant-garde lifestyle filled with artists and creatives. His decisions, as liberating as they were for him, served only to deepen the chasm between him and his family, setting the stage for an event that would shock the world. In the summer of '73, against the backdrop of the bustling streets and ancient architectural marvels of Rome, the unthinkable happened. John, the audacious rebel who once roamed the bohemian circles of the city, was kidnapped. Aged only 16, young Getty was snatched from the Piazza Farnese in a coordinated operation that spoke of meticulous planning. In the immediate aftermath of the kidnapping, Rome was engulfed in a confluence of chaos, confusion, and rampant speculation. The terrible truth about what had happened was first revealed in a chilling ransom note delivered to the family, demanding a staggering $17 million for Getty's safe return. Those who kidnapped him were no ordinary criminals. They were reputed to be members of 'Ndrangheta, a notorious organized crime group from Calabria. Yet it was not a mere question of affording the ransom. J. Paul Getty, the oil magnate and the patriarch of the family, declined to meet the demands, famously stating, "I have 14 other grandchildren. If I pay a penny of ransom, I'll have 14 kidnapped grandchildren." Amid the distressing circumstances, it was a chilling standoff, and the refusal triggered a media frenzy and public uproar. Internally, the family was a cauldron of turbulent emotions, with tensions flaring over the proper course of action. This poignant chapter was not only a test of the family's unity, but also an unsparing exposure of their fractured relationships and the indifferent public personas they had masked under their exuding affluence. Immersed in darkness both literally and metaphorically, John faced an ordeal that no one, let alone a 16-year-old boy, should endure. His days in captivity, held by a ruthless criminal gang, were interlaced with periods of fear, uncertainty, and unimaginable despair. As the days turned into weeks, and then into months, his captors grew impatient with the Gettys' refusal to bend to their steep demands. The situation escalated, and in an act of barbarity that sent shockwaves globally, the captors severed poor John's ear. That and a lock of hair were sent to a local newspaper. This horrendous act was a morbid testament to the seriousness of their threats, turning an already dire situation into something utterly unimaginable and compelling the Gettys to reconsider their stance on the ransom. As the family's anguish surpassed insurmountable levels, a critical but profusedly complex and tense negotiation process unfolded with the 'Ndrangheta members behind the curtain. Behind this daunting task was none other than Getty Sr.'s trusted advisor, former CIA operative Fletcher Chase, and the Italian police, who worked doggedly, sifting through dangerous territories, encrypted messages, and convoluted criminal networks. Months into the ordeal, after intense negotiation and clear evidence of the severe extent the captors were willing to commit, a stark shift occurred in the patriarch's stance. He ultimately agreed to contribute $2.2 million towards the ransom, the maximum amount that was tax deductible at the time. The remaining sum was lent to his son, John Jr., on the stipulation of repayment with interest. Yep, Father of the Year right there. This marked the first stride towards his liberation, a moment laced bitterly with the realization of his family's prioritization of wealth. The accumulated efforts bore fruit on December 15, 1973, when John Paul Getty III was left by his captors at a disused motorway service station. Emerging from months of physical and emotional turmoil, Getty was discovered in a miserable and enfeebled state by a station employee who finally alerted the police. The news of his release sent waves of relief amidst a whirlpool of media interest that had been growing ceaselessly since the news of his abduction. The Italian police, now with the teen safe, continued to uninterruptedly unravel the threads of this complex crime network. The subsequent hunt for the kidnappers ended with several arrests, but the true battle was unfortunately far from won. Retributive justice was patchy and marred by the frustrating complexities of the criminal justice system that saw some kidnappers escape with marginal punishment. As we navigate through the layers of this heart-wrenching saga, we recognize its lasting impact on John Paul Jr., his family, and its reverberations in the society that closely followed this public calamity. The horrific kidnapping and its aftermath left the boy suffering from physical and psychological torment. It pushed him onto a downward spiral of loneliness, addiction, and degrading health, ultimately leading to his premature death at the age of 54. The impact on the Getty family was nothing short of profound and cataclysmic. Their public image, once that of an invincible and untouchable unit rooted firmly in their wealth, was shattered. As the elders' refusal to pay the ransom echoed globally, public perception turned from admiration to incredulity and disdain. However, it's not just a tale of a family's downfall, but also a glaring reflection of the society that simultaneously vilified and gawked at their ordeal.